Hey everybody, I recently managed to pick up quite a few audiophile pressings. It was an interesting situation. Stick around and we'll dive in. Alright, so recently I managed to pick up several audiophile pressings of some different albums. Kind of a unique situation popped up not too far from me. There's a very small record store. It's not one I go to all the time. It's probably, I have a primary shop that I go to that isn't too far from where I work. The second one, it's a little bit closer to my house, but they have limited hours. The owner of the shop does some other things. He's only open, I think, maybe 3 days a week. It's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday type of thing. And just between my work hours and then family obligations, it's not a place I go to very often. But I've been hitting it off and on the past few years since I moved to where I'm at right now. And the owner, he's gotten to know me a little bit in my tastes, and he's noticed that I've picked up from him on occasion some audiophile stuff. He manages to get in some stuff from Mobile Fidelity from time to time. So I've picked some stuff up from him rather than order it. And it's interesting also because while it's a small shop and he does carry some new stuff, it's become a bit of a honey hole for me because he's just got a really impressive mix of used stuff. And even though it is a small operation, he seems to pick up a lot of good collections here and there. So it's one of those places where, I don't hit it every week or every couple weeks, but every time I go in, he definitely has something new to me. Really good prices. He kind of, I've talked to him a little bit, and his thing is not to really charge a lot. He's not losing money by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not looking to like flip things for a huge profit. He wants to make records affordable and obtainable. So, when I went in December and I was looking at some things, he mentioned to me, he knows somebody and he was about to buy his audiophile collection, and it was from a longtime customer of his. Unfortunately, this customer has tinnitus, and just can't really listen to music anymore because of the situation with his hearing. And he just has a huge collection of audiophile stuff, a lot of Mobile Fidelity, a lot of the other brands as well, and just a lot of nice things. And what he was telling me too is that this collector would often buy 2 copies of everything. He'd have a play copy and then a copy, like a safety copy or one that he might choose to sell in the future. So he had a lot of different things from the 80s, 90s, and on. So he said, and I think when I went into the store, it was right around Christmas time, and he said, come back in a week. I'm going to start putting this stuff out. I'm just like making the deal and all that. So, it's right after Christmas. Obviously spent a lot of money right around Christmas with gifts and all that stuff. So I'm, coming into the new year trying to be good. And on top of that, I just have a lot of things going on and just couldn't get over there. So finally, a few weeks went by. It was already, I think, close to February, or maybe even the first week of February. And I'm like, what? I know he still has some things. Let me go over there and check it out. So I get there, and he's like, hey, I would have expected to see you by now. And I said, well, just a lot going on and couldn't quite make it over. But figured, let me see if you've got anything left. And he brought me over to the area where he had kind of like the remnants. It's just the slim pickings, whatever was left. And he said, at this point, we're just 25% off of whatever the list price is, because we're just at this point trying to move things. And I'm going through, I think he was down to 3 or 4 boxes at this point, and like the leftovers were pretty impressive, so it just makes you wonder, like, and I had seen some of his flip videos, and at the time I'm like, I can't go into the store because I'm just going to spend way too much money if I go in and go there. And even at this point, I spent enough. It was quite a bit of good stuff. But as I said, he was pricing things to sell. He was actually consigning the collection for the owner. He said he just couldn't afford to buy the collection off the guy. So they worked it out where he was selling it for him, and obviously taking a bit of a fee off of doing the work for selling it, obviously. And then I guess after several weeks of selling, they decided to lower the price and just try to move the rest of the collection. So this is what I picked up. And mind you, this is again like 4 weeks after the sale started. And this is what I was left, and there was a lot of stuff, trust me. I like walked past a good chunk of like Beatles MoFi albums, which I just really didn't have a huge interest. I from what I understand with the Beatles MoFi stuff, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some of the recordings aren't that great. There's a lot of people that think some of the modern, more recent pressings are just way better than even those MoFi ones. And the price on those it was not something I wanted to pay for. I guess like questionable, if you want to call that questionable recording. So I was just looking for things that I really wanted and stuff that I've been looking for some period of time. All right, so first up, and this is not a MoFi, it's a Nautilus Super Disc, Fleetwood Mac Rumours. This is very nice, very like all these albums that were opened were minty fresh. It's like they were barely played. I've heard of the Super Disc before. This is the first one I think I have in my collection. It sounds great. It's a really nice copy. I'm not sure if this is better than, there's like the Palace pressings that are pretty well known now, but I think this sounds pretty good. So nice pickup. It was not very expensive, and then obviously with the 25% off, it was an even better deal. All right, up next, Allman Brothers band, Brothers and Sisters. This is Mobile Fidelity. I believe this copy was released in the 90s. But yeah, super clean copy. I could have actually bought this one brand new too. There was 2 copies. As I said, he had play copies and then safety copies as well. I opted to go with the used copy. It was $35 cheaper. I figured I wanted to maximize what I could spend. So really nice copy. Been looking for this one for a while, and it sounds great. Really happy with it. All right, up next, 3 albums from R.E.M. So this was something I knew R.E.M. had quite a few audiophile releases in the 90s. And it's something that, to me, cost prohibitive. But as I said, the prices were like move to sell, and some really cool pickups. So I got this copy of Reckoning, and this was sealed. And this is a 1990s version, copy number 298. And this just sounds absolutely magical. Absolutely love this one. And it's just a sealed copy of Reckoning. If you look it up on Discogs, what some of the recent sale prices were for this one, for a brand new sealed copy, it's insane. We're talking like 300 plus. I did not pay anywhere remotely close to $300 for this. It was under $100. With that 25% off, so very excited to get this one. On top of that, I also got from R.E.M. Another Mobile Fidelity, Murmur, their first album. Now this one, it was unsealed, but again from the 1990s, and I'd been in his shop like a year or 2 prior and saw he was selling one of these copies. It was like $50. And I was like, I don't really want to spend $50 on it at the time. And then it was just kicking myself ever since, because obviously it sold. And then, when I went back, it was long gone. So I always thought, if I could come across another copy at roughly the same price, I would absolutely pick it up. So it was a little bit more than $50. I don't recall what I paid for it, but it wasn't a whole lot more. It was maybe $60. Again, an original 1990s, minty fresh copy of Murmur for like $60. I'll pay that all day, any day. So really nice find on that. And then lastly, another R.E.M. album. This one was sealed also, not Mobile Fidelity, but it was a 1990s or early, I can't remember if it was 1990s or early 2000s version of Document, their fifth album. This was pressed at RTI on high quality 180 gram vinyl. It sounds great. It's a really nice copy. I don't know. I believe this was sourced from the original, or it was sourced from Analog. I don't have any other additional details on it, but it does sound really good. It's in a nice tip-on jacket. Sounds fabulous. Nice pickup, and I think sometimes too when it's not a MoFi. You get it at a little bit better price too, because obviously part of Mobile Fidelity stuff is you're paying for that name. So, again, sealed copy, 20 years old. It sounds fabulous. Really happy with this one. All right, and then the last item was a bit of a shocker. I'm a huge Springsteen fan. Besides my normal Instagram, I do have another Instagram called Bruce Springsteen Collection, where I highlight the items in my collection, whether it's CDs, cassettes, vinyl. I've been slowly going through my collection over the past year and documenting it. So I came across this in the collection, and this is Born to Run. This is the classic records on Quiax SVP, the super vinyl, 200 gram. This thing, and it was sealed too. I was talking to the owner, and he bought the unsealed copy, and I was just completely blown away by this. It was, what he was saying to me. He's like, he put it on, and it's just like you want to sit there with a nice drink and just relax and absorb the music. And this does not disappoint. If you're a fan of Bruce, and I've got quite a few different copies of Born to Run, different pressings, and some are better than others. I've got a Japanese copy. I've got a half-speed master. I have an original kind of a radio promo, so it's a fairly clean record. This thing though just blows them all out of the water. If you're not familiar, the classic records, the Led Zeppelin releases from them are highly collectible, highly desirable. Will go for $300-$400 or more. This was not at that level. It's sold for a lot on Discogs, but I think obviously a band like Zeppelin just has a bigger fan base in the vinyl world than Bruce does, and Bruce is of course a very popular artist. So got this. It was sealed, cracked it open, and just an absolutely beautiful copy. And yeah, this is definitely my play copy from here on out. I mean, there's no reason to even bother listening to the others at this point, other than wanting to maybe preserve this and not wear it down or anything like that. But just an absolutely killer record. And as I said, all six of these, they were priced to sell to begin with. I'm not saying that these are all like $10 records by any means. But they were not looking to get, like the high price or even the median price on Discogs. They were pricing these at a respectable level to sell them, and the dude was making his money back, that's for sure, and the shop owner was taking a cut out of that, and that's for sure. But they were definitely looking to not have these like lingering for months and months on end, to just maximize and squeeze out every penny that they could. So it was good for me. It was obviously good for them to get some money out of it. And just I'm really happy with this this pickup of late. So let me know in the comments if you've ever had a really good score, whether it's Audiophile. Or even if it's just like some solid luck at a dollar bin. I'm curious to hear what you found over the years that you're really happy with. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll be back with more videos soon. Take care.